But let me tell you something. I created the word cranking. I just come out of nowhere and say, we're going to crank on them boys. What is cranking? And then
Hold on, Doc, what you going to do?
We're going to crank on them boys. And then they asked, well, what is, they were just funny. Yeah, Mr. J, yeah. Then look, what is
All right, everybody, welcome to the very first episode of the Jukebox Media Podcast. I am Perry White, and today we got a very special episode with two of the greats, Dr. Kedrick Taylor and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Lawrence Jackson, former band director here at Southern University. What's going on, fellas?
Everything is all right, man. Doing good, just chilling.
Just chilling? That's what you're doing these days?
Chilling.
Just chilling?
That's it.
Yeah, Dr. Taylor, you ain't doing no chilling, huh?
Oh no, we in full throttle.
Full throttle. Let's talk about it, fellas, and let's jump right into it. You know, former band director here at Southern University, just the idea of coming to Southern. Crowley, Louisiana?
Crowley, Louisiana. Crowtown, USA.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Talk about it, man, that journey from Crowley, small town, or the big metropolis, however you want to put it, and making your way to Baton Rouge and then being a student here at Southern.
Well, first of all, I had a tremendous upbringing in Crowley. Great parents, great siblings, and I always wanted to play in a band. And normally, my band director, the legendary Mr. Emmett Jacob, started me off in the 8th grade on baritone. And after 2 weeks, he asked someone to switch to tuba. So I raised my hand. I didn't have no instrument. I just wanted to play in the band. So I switched to tuba, and that's the best decision I could have made. Played in the band, got in high school. I went from being in the tuba section, the section leader, the second semester, and we had seniors and juniors on tuba. But I had an obsession with learning how to play the tuba and get as much information about sight reading, going to festivals. And we played this tune, Canzona, by Peter Mennin at the festival. LIALO was here in the women's gym on Southern campus, and we made it to the LIALO, and I played the lead part. It's tuba 1 and tuba 2. So I had a great time, all parish band, all state tuba player. And then I came to Southern on a $250 scholarship. Dr. Greg auditioned me in his office in the gray suit in the old building. And Doc said, "Can you play?" I said, "Yes, sir, Doc, I could play." He said, "What marches you play?" Because during that time, during that period, every band played marches, and marches for memory. So he called a march, and I played it for memory, and he winked at me. $250. Man, I was excited. $250.
Now, what's $250 back in those times?
It was half of your tuition.
Okay.
Half of your tuition. In other words, tuition back then per semester was $532 a semester. So my parents only had to pay what was left. And then after one semester, full scholarship. I didn't have to pay for anything. So it was great. I had a great time.
And that's
Great
part of
time.
the journey.
That's part of the journey. I mean, during that time, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have too much of anything but going to class, come to rehearsal. That's how it was. And we looked forward to coming to rehearsal. Rehearsal was a big deal for us. Now you gotta remember, during that time, and it's strange because I almost left Southern. Matter of fact, I almost went to Grambling.
What?
Yeah. Let the record reflect. I almost went to Grambling. Why? Because I didn't see Southern on the tube. During that time, Grambling football was king. And Grambling was the only HBCU school on the tube. And they're on the tube every week. So the only band we saw was Grambling Band. And I said, oh yeah, I want to be in that band. Oh yeah, I got to be in that band. But fate had it where Mr. Finister came for college night at Crowley High School, and I was just looking, walking around. I had made up my mind. And he said, he asked me what I did. I said, well, I'm in a band over here. He said, have you considered the human jukebox? I said, what is that, the human jukebox? He said, Southern University Marching Band. I said, no, I haven't. I never heard of them. I heard about them because some of my homeboys were in the band. But, you know, we didn't see them. So the next class period, I asked my band director, Mr. Jacob, about Southern and Grambling. And he told me, well, Lawrence, if you want to see the world, he said, both of them are really good schools. Now, my band director is a graduate from Southern, and him and Dr. Griggs were in the same class, marched in the same band under Mr. T. Leroy Davis. So he said, well, Lawrence, if you want to see the world, you go to Grambling. He got a good band program. But if you really want to be a good band director, you go to Southern. Now, he wasn't slighting Grambling at all. Let the records reflect, because they had very good band directors that come out of Grambling. But he said, if you really want to, get the essence of what we do, go to Southern, because he knew the instructors, he knew all was there. And so I decided to go to Southern. And then after I got here, I almost quit.
What happened?
Well, Wednesday, we were doing fine. The schedule was, this was the schedule at Southern. You get up in the morning, you go to, then it was Parker Hall. Mayberry was Parker Hall. And you have a morning session after that. What is the morning session? Going on the field. On the field. Mini Dome wasn't a mini dome. Mm-hmm. It was the ag barn where they housed cows and different animals. And we had a field out there, and we would march up and down that field. And we would take a break. It was an ice break. No water. You get a salt pill and a cup of ice. And we would just hold on to that ice. We was like, don't mess with my ice. Don't mess with my ice. Don't fool with my ice. It was like, don't even look this way. And what happened was, they worked us so hard. These upperclassmen, and his head, the drill captain, Chester White. Mm-hmm. Chester White, the legendary Chester White. He was band captain for 4 years. Chester White, I think, was in the band a very long time. A very long time. The legendary Chester White. Mm-hmm. And I had I think I had a sunstroke or something at Wednesday. I was doing great, enjoying myself. And then after the morning session, I didn't want to go to lunch. I was too sick. So I ran to Jones Hall, old Jones Hall. I said, I just need to if I could get me 40 minutes of sleep, I'll be good. When I woke up, it was after 1. I was devastated. I just ran from Jones. Could you imagine running from Jones Hall to the mini dome, non-stop? Mm-hmm. When I got to the field by the ag barn, Chester White chewed me out. He all on me. And I couldn't explain it. I had an impediment of speech, so nothing would come out. Mm-hmm. So he say, don't tell me nothing. Get in line. Man, I just say, I can't take it no more. This is it. I'm going out. I'm going to. Then when I settled down, I said, wait a minute. You were the man in Crowley. You were John Phillips Sousa Award, all these scholarships, and all this stuff, and now you're going to leave? In other words, you was a big fish in a little pond. Mm-hmm. Now you're an ocean, a little fish, and you can't swim. Mm-hmm. I said, no, I just have to stay and hang tough.
You accepted the challenge.
Oh, yeah. And then what he did was he came up to me after that session and said, we were worried about you. We didn't know where you were. They didn't have cell phones, and they didn't have, so they didn't know where I was. So he said, man, next time you have a problem, just come to one of us, and we'll take care of you. And after that, it was history. Had I gone home, everything was in front of me. My destination was in front of me. Let me share this with you. I want the record to reflect. There were many, a multitude of great musicians and band directors come out of Grambling State University. Then it was Grambling College. And I would eventually, because of my destiny, found Dr. Gregg. That was my destiny. Some kind of way, I would have found Dr. Gregg. But there are two great programs, and hey man, it's the S on our chest that made us the best. You don't hear me, it's wartime.
And Dr. Taylor, I want to talk to you about your journey because, now the current band director at Southern, Mobile, Alabama, but let me get it right, Pritchett. There you go. Like, look, I got to make sure I put some respect on it. Pritchett, but, finding your way coming out of high school and finding music and then finding Southern University.
Man, kind of similar to Mr. Jackson, but I would say the most crazy thing about all that was my sister went to Jackson State. But she was in a really good band there in '90. Dal Taylor was the director. Paul Adams was there. They had a pretty good program. But I don't know, it was something about when we came to every Southern game. We didn't miss a Southern game, and we went to the Alston State game when Al McNair was playing, so I remember that as well. But I knew I wanted to be in the band because that's all I was around, right? But then, my brother came to Southern, and it was like, yeah, you saw a big difference. It was like the consistency in the program. You want to be a part of something that's structured and well organized, and Southern always looked like a well-oiled machine. It's like when you saw those capes, you saw the drill designs, you saw the shows, everything. You couldn't leave to go to concessions or nothing like that. You was waiting for halftime, right? And I'm not saying that Jackson State Band didn't put on good shows, but it just looked like a fun band compared to Southern. Looked like it was like business. It was like, like Mr. Jackson always said, it's wartime. And it was like, so it really made you see a big difference. When I saw my brother in the band, he directed Neck as a student. Very inspirational. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want to go to Southern. It was, and wasn't no question about it. You saw the band just continue to be here. And, other bands always have up and down years, but whereas Southern, it was always the band everybody, talked about. And what sealed it for me, just seeing my brother direct, talking outside of your neck, and all the fans was, engaged. It was like, man, that's, one day I can do something like that, But, man, I owe so much to Mr. Jackson. I auditioned as a junior, and Dr. Griggs told me that I needed to go home and buzz. Because I kept switching instruments in high school because our band, some we didn't have, I'd jump on it. So I only really played my trumpet like maybe 1 year. So by my junior year, I was the drum major, but I was on different instruments just trying to help the band program and not realizing I needed to get on some skills. But Dr. Griggs told me what to do as a junior, and I did it. He saw me the next time, and I came and had a great audition. Man, it took me so long to get my letter. And so finally, when I got here, Mr. J said, man, Doc, we're going to pick you. I said, what? He said, man, Doc, I had to tell him that's Pepper, brother. He had forgot. Doc, man, I don't know. But like Mr. J said, it was my destiny to be here.
Did you get more than that $250?
No, I got $28.96. It was out of state fee. So I ain't getting nothing my first year.
Well, let me add on the Dr. Taylor situation. Doc always confided to me, and to make some point of notice, Dr. Taylor, brother wrote "Talking Out the Side of Your Neck" as a junior. Mm-hmm. He wrote it, and the strange part about it, the students came to me and wanted me to write "Talking Out the Side of Your Neck," and I asked the drum major, which was T.J. Terrell Jackson Jr., and he told me, "Oh, that's not a good song. That's not a good." I said, "Mr. J, I don't think that's a good song." So I passed it on to E. Pebble Taylor. I said, "Man, why don't you write this song that the guys want to play today?" And he put the pen. He had some serious pen with him. We talking about a student who was a junior wrote "Talking Out the Side of Your Neck," and he wrote the sleeves off that tune. And people said, "What? Who wrote this?" He thought one of the directors wrote it. He thought Mr. Knight wrote it or I wrote it. No, E. Pebble Taylor, Doc's older brother, wrote "Talking Out the Side of the Neck" as a junior. And he was a phenomenal baritone player. Phenomenal baritone player. But he's a trumpet man. Mm-hmm. He played baritone in the marching band, but he was a applied trumpet player. His main instrument was trumpet. Let me tell you about Doc. Doc had a tremendous audition, but for some reason, Doc, well, nah, I don't think I got enough trumpets in there. And I said, "Doc, this is E. Pebble's brother." And I had to tell him, I said, he come from good stock. Mm-hmm. Good musician bloodline. Man, he said, "Oh, well, okay. That's why it took so long for you to get that."
Oh, you found out today?
Oh, man.
And look, he wound up being director of band now. But when he came in, he brought that smoke. Oh, he brought that smoke. Now, I'm going to tell you something. His senior year, he was the section leader of the trumpet section. The very best I've heard. Now, I know the trumpet players in the past going to be upset at me, but
you know how that go, Doc.
05, in my opinion, in terms of range, in terms of musicianship, has had so many good trumpet players in 05. Mm-hmm. That's why, and then what is so difficult for other trumpet sections to play it, because you have to have, a trumpet section out of this world to play and then what? Because the comparison going to always go back to 05 when Dr. Taylor was the section leader and Dr. Pollard, who's the associate director of Texas Southern, was his assistant. They just had top line trumpet players. And the thing about and then what is that line at the end where the trumpets go in the stratosphere, that's just for his trumpet. I was carding the second and third. Second and third didn't play that part. They didn't play an octave lower. It was just first trumpet. You kidding me? I'm pumped up.
Look, that's why I got to ask you. When you talk about and then what, and in this day and age, we call it cranking. Now, at what point when you got to Southern and Southern had its style and you talk about the marches, then it seemed like band evolved, and as band evolved, Southern with the brassy, just powerful sound. And you didn't really see that with a lot of other bands. Everybody kind of had styles, but at what point did cranking become a thing? And for the people out there, give me the definition with the bouncing ball. What is cranking?
Well, first of all, cranking has nothing to do with range of the instrument.
Now say that a little louder for the people in the back.
Cranking has nothing to do with the range of an instrument. Mm-hmm. we would always write in the practical range of each instrument, with the exception of when you want to highlight a part, certain students in each section would take it up. But basically, we always write as close as we can to the recording. And then we add our little flavor. Different arrangers have different things that they want to add based on their style of arranging. But let me tell you something. I created the word cranking. I just come out of nowhere and say, we're going to crank on them boys. What is cranking? And then
Hold on, Doc, what you going to do?
We're going to crank on them boys. And then they asked, well, what is, they were just funny. Yeah, Mr. J, yeah. Then look, what is cranking? Is an attitude. In other words, Dr. Greg used to say, don't play in the horn, but play through the horn. Cranking is an attitude. Like you got to play with aggression. You got to play mad. Perfect example, Can You Feel It, 1999. Find the recording of Can You Feel It, Michael Jackson, 1999. The range is not high. It's not a high, they were playing through the horns. It's an aggression. You gotta play with an attitude. You gotta play with energy. That's cranking is. Everybody got the same energy feeding on each other. Has nothing to do with writing in the stratosphere. Horns, F horn parked so high, it looked like you're choking and chicken and screaming. That is not cranking.
Let me ask you, Garrett, can we insert that right there? We're going to insert that so the people can see that video.
Yeah. Can You Feel It, 1999, Southern versus Florida A&M. That's just look at that video. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And if you look at the parts, there ain't nothing high. It ain't got nothing to do with the range. Now, baritones sound like F horns. Well, euphoniums now, sound like F horns. F horns is trying to sound like a trumpet that's out of tune. And trumpets is they're just way up there. Everybody, tubas sounding like baritones on steroids. Just everybody, woo, 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 woo. And everybody saying, yeah, that's the sound we want. Yeah, that's what we gonna. That is not cranking.
What is that then?
Noise.
So you hear a lot of noise out there these days.
Well, now you got control noise, because I want to clear that up.
Okay.
Because there are, it's got so many tremendous arrangers out there. Now let's just call it like it is. And guys know how to mix those different colors together, those different instruments, and they peak at a certain point and they go down at a certain point. But in our era, we didn't have too many rap tunes when I was coming up. Well, when I was in the band in the 70s, 71 to 75, it was no such thing as a rap tune. Everything was full tune. So we played Earth, Wind and Fire a lot, Commodores a lot, and you name it, the group, Bootsy Collins, Funkadelic, you just name James Brown, and every artist in that era, we played those selections, the top 20s, top 40s. And we just wanted to make the selection sound as close as we can to the recording that everybody loved. But now, the arrangers, some of them start putting a spin on the arrangement, and you lose the really colors, the true colors of that instrument. The color instrument in band is baritone and F horns. And the arranger has to know what to do with those two instruments. Those two instruments could make and break an arrangement.
For somebody out there who don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay, first of all, the fatness of an arrangement is going to have to go through the baritone and the F horns because they are rich in sound. It's just a rich sound. An arranger who does not know what to do or what part to give those instruments are in trouble because you're going to have a thin sound. You got to know how to weave those instruments in arrangement so you can get a different flavor. Dr. Taylor know how to do that. He's one of the arrangers that know how to do that. And he's got a lot of others, but he's one of them in that group that know what to do with an arrangement. And I could call a lot of names, other names, because Southern have had tremendous arrangers throughout their great legacy. I mean, we didn't have a problem with arrangement from the 50s to 60s all the way to 2025. We have had great arrangers. Not no just average arrangers, you know. And again, y'all jukes out there, when you see this video, you're gonna be naming them as we speak, cause you know them. The only reason why I don't want to name them, cause we had so many, and I don't want to miss nobody. Can I get a witness?
Dr. Taylor, I'm going to go to you because of what he's talking about, you know, this transition, and you're what we call the new school. You're one of the younger directors out, and you got the best band arguably in the world. So you've watched the evolution of what band is compared to what we see today. And, you know, I had this conversation with you some time back, you know, now with the summer bands and, you know, you have all of this extra that's going into bands, but I think what we're starting to miss is the essential part, marching band. And for you looking at band as a whole and the evolution of it, your thoughts of the marching band to the cranking bands. That's a good one.
I just want to, I don't want to offend nobody, but I always wanted to be great. You know, I don't want to do what the people around me do. I want to do what the world is doing. What's the ideal thing of what we call band, right? Marching band is what we all have, but the emphasis has been put on the stands and playing, and I won't even say they're arrangements no more. It's kind of like computerized sounds that they're envisioning the band playing it, but they're not actually thinking about, like Mr. Jackson said, the band playing it, utilizing the instruments for what they really are. You know, so it's like putting mud tires on a Lamborghini. Why would you put mud tires on a Lamborghini? You know, it don't match, it don't mix. So that's what I always tell the students. I like the arrangement like some good gumbo. It need to be a good mix. I don't want to hear where anything coming from. I just want to hear good sound. Just like gumbo, you don't want to taste the salt, the pepper, and none of that. You just want to taste like this. Just some good gumbo. Right. So when I think about music and I think about marching band, people are not putting emphasis on shows anymore because and it's nothing. I have nothing against anybody with a podcast or rating bands or however they want to do it. Like that's their opinion, right? I don't let somebody's opinion define me as a musician. Right. You know, so I think one of the things that we're losing is the fact that people don't want to learn what real music is anymore. They just want, like Mr. J say, put abstract notes on the paper and it's like, ooh, that's good. Like, it's this new triple form. It's like you can't even understand what's going on. It's like, and I'm like, that's not music. And it's like, you know, when you're thinking about a marching band, it's in a college band at that, it's the institution of higher learning. Right. It's not the rec. It's not AAU. It's not like, let's go to the gym and just put a team together. And it seems like that's what some people think of it as, but it's not. And that's why Mr. Jackson always would tell us, you know, what you produce is what you're going to put out. What you put out is what you're going to get back in return. If you don't have quality musicians and teaching them the right way, man, like Mr. Jackson wouldn't let us get away with nothing. It was like he wanted us to be really good musicians because he saw something in us. We had a really good class. We used to be competitive playing the woodwinds in class, but because of him, but he didn't let us just do anything. I was able to teach it when I got at my school. I was like, I don't have nothing. And I was in Mr. Jackson's office when I got that job, and I was like, he's like, Mr. Morris, like the late great Mr. Morris, he was like, I just wanted drum section. And I was like, drum section? I was like, we gonna have a band, you know? But I didn't let my students just play. I didn't go to competitions or nothing. I taught them how to play. But I learned that at Southern University.
And Jack, what he was saying, he's talking about when he got the job at Baker, and I felt so bad for him.
Why?
He had 8 students, 12 students.
Oh, you had a little band.
Oh no, I ain't have a band. I had.
No, he had to start everything. But what he was saying, Mr. Jackson didn't let us do certain things. That was in the method class, instrumental method class, woodwind methods class. I was a tuba player teaching woodwind methods at the university level because when I was in high school, we used to go to solo and ensemble festival and small ensemble where you had the brass choirs or the trumpet quartet, duet, trio, and all across the board. Even with the woodwind, we had the flute trios, the saxophone quartets, and all these things. And my last year, all my woodwinds and brass and everybody that went to festival made straight ones. So they knew my DNA, and I was obsessed with the woodwind. So when I came to Southern and they needed a person during my tenure to teach woodwind methods, they asked me would I teach it. And that's where they learned the pedagogy of how to play the flute and the clarinet, saxophone, and other woodwind. And they brought it to their particular school. Other band directors were saying the blue book.
I kept my notebook.
They had to have, before they take the final exam, they had to bring in the blue book with all what was taught. And on exams, we wouldn't have multiple choices because I wanted to make sure that these students knew what they were doing. How to start the student off, what's the characteristic of a good sound, how to produce a good sound, fingering, how to put the instruments together. They had to know certain things. Or I tell them the course was being offered a year from now. That's what I tell them.
Some people got some ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't let them go just to help hazardly teach these students. That's the reason why him and his comrades, and again, they will battle in class. They will battle on scales, flute. He's a trumpet player, but he played some really good flute, some good clarinet, some good sax. They will have battles. They had to learn X number of scales. Before they could leave the class, they had to know how to start students off on each woodwind instrument other than the double reed, because we didn't have many double reed instruments, but we would have a unit on how to start students off on oboe and bassoon and things of that nature. But he was very technical. He's a very technical student. So when he was at Southern, he was technical. He was very observant, and he would catch on to the concept, which reminds me of another situation. And we talking about, I don't know if you was gonna ask that question, but fifth quarter and zero quarter.
Yeah, you know, that's part of the cranking, you know.
You know.
That's part of it, right? Is that the birth of it?
Yeah, well, to set the record straight, we, this is crazy. I'm not gonna say, I don't know anything about the MEAC in terms of what they do, or CIAA, SIAC, all because it's a different flavor in different conferences. But I know in the SWAC, we started the fifth quarter, and they were doing fifth quarter, but not on a high level. They mean we would play a few songs when we were in school, and the other band would play a few songs. We wave across the thing, and we leave. But in the 90s, all that changed.
What was the first fifth quarter for you?
Okay, it was in the early 90s.
Okay.
Early 90s, when I say when up for me, everybody in the SWAC would play, after we played our alma mater, when I was in here at Southern in the 70s. But it wasn't that wasn't big. You know what's big? Halftime. Halftime show was king.
Yeah.
If you lost the halftime show, you lost.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
There ain't no debate or nothing. Halftime was king. I ain't talking about no. If you didn't connect with the fan, see, people don't know what is about no rules. There are no rules. The band competition. Rule number one. If you want, rule number one.
I want to hear this one.
In band warfare, on the HBCU level, rule number one at Southern University. Rule number one. It's only two rules. One is there are no rules in band warfare.
Say less.
Rule number two, refer to rule number one.
That's all we need to hear here.
That's what it was. And let me tell you, more than anything else, if you didn't do no halftime show that satisfied the fan base, I'm talking about the fan base. You see, it wasn't nobody, we didn't have no YouTube. What is that? YouTube and social media. We didn't have none of that. You know, the legendary Dr. Isaac B. Gregg taught us to change halftime shows every home game. That's how you say. We had a road show. There's no such thing as every week you got to learn a whole new set of music. What kind of mess is that? You can't even perfect the music. You mean to tell me you're going to play something good and then next week throw all that away? We go on a whole new set. How the kids going to learn? And this what gets me. Oh, they played the same thing last week. I saw it on YouTube. Stop looking at YouTube. It's just madness. It just don't make no sense. And let me tell you something. As relates to Southern University Band, Dr. Gray, man, I learned so much stuff from him. Uh-huh. We would do a show, we call a road show, and we would bring that everywhere and house out. We mix and match for the Bayou Classic. We mix and match. The best we did that year, that's what we put together for Bayou Classic. The key, what the folks don't understand about competing with other bands is in order for you to win a battle, you got to satisfy your fan base.
You win the crowd.
That's all. All what they playing, what they play. What you worrying about what they playing for? Mm-hmm. You don't satisfy your fan base, you cook before you even begin. Your fan base is going to fight for you. I don't care what they say, or who say what. In their eyes, you're the best. Because guess what? You played at least one tune, one of their favorite tunes. Oh, they played my tune. They be talking about it in church at Sunday school the next day. You understand? So basically, they don't get it. Satisfy your fan base, and you're going to win every time.
You know, you talk about the halftime. For me, growing up watching Southern, I thought one of the greatest things I ever saw was being able to put the score on the field.
Yeah.
It always blew people's mind. Like, how did they know that? You know, where did the score concept come from, and how did that become a thing, a staple in Southern's halftime?
Well, first of all, we don't reveal our deep secrets.
Yeah, we don't want the recipe
as
now.
to, but let me tell you something. Dr. Taylor and his band put the time on the field. That's come from Dr. Griggs too. We just didn't do it enough, but he did it. He did it several times during his career. It's just a timing thing. And they already know when Dr. Taylor was in the band and all the other people who came through the system on the Dr. Griggs and everybody after him knew the number system. And we would teach the number system. We would teach 11 components, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and blank. That's 11 components. 0 through 9 and blank. Make the blank. So they already know. Look at the scoreboard. Obviously, Dr. Taylor told them, look at the scoreboard. That's when we're gonna do the time. And it's hit like a big dog. So what I'm saying is this is our tradition. The scoring system is our tradition, and everybody got to look up at the board, and the system be going from section to section. Look at the board, look at the board. And most of the time, the only thing change is going to be if somebody make a touchdown and kick a field goal, and it all depends on how the scoring is. If visitors is on the right or left side, and the home team's on the right, whoever make whatever number is, have to look at and see if that number going to change. So it's something amazing that we do, and it's very creative. Again, I mentioned the foundation. Now let's get this one thing straight. We have always had great directors of band. From when we started it, we even had a female director of bands. Yeah. Now, don't ask for names.
Did you know this? Ella Mack and Patty.
Yeah. Right. And the thing about it is, it's a certain flavor, it's a certain style, it's a certain attitude, it's a certain mentality that we've always had, from the director of bands to down to the students. Now, Dr. Griggs, I keep referring to Dr. Griggs, but all other band directors, Dr. Freeman, Dr. T. Leroy Davis, to name a few. These are old school, you know. They're strong disciplinarians. Strong disciplinarians.
And how important is discipline when it comes to marching band? Because as he was talking about, you saw the seriousness that ultimately brought him to Southern, because he said other bands looked fun, but it was something about this that just looked completely different from other bands.
Well, first of all, again, we learned that while we was in school. If there's no discipline, there's no creativity. It starts with discipline. How can you create without discipline? You have to be at the right place at the right time with the right equipment, ready to concentrate. Excessive walking and talking and moving about make concentration not impossible, but difficult. You can't be as good as, but you got to be better than. The tallest building will tumble down if it's not rooted on solid ground. He's talking about fundamentals. He who knows and know he knows is a wise person, but he who knows not but think he knows is a fool. That's all come from the dictionary of Dr. Isaac B. Griggs. You know, and you have to have discipline in order to create. Now, he would expedite time. He said we want to expedite time. When I was in the band, we would practice on the field from 4 o'clock to about 5:30. It started getting dark. We couldn't go on the field no more because we didn't have lights. We would just practice that music. We practice that music, practice that music. We'd go in the sectional, he'd call us back, and we would practice about up to maybe 10 o'clock. That's what we'd do. And it would be packed in the old building, the old band room, old choir room, in the music building. We'd be sweating. We didn't have no air conditioning, no nothing. Look, but we were all male band. So sometimes we wouldn't have no shirts on. Yeah, and all would be packed and they'd be waiting to go in that door. So Dr. Grace would tell the students to come on in, and we put on a concert. We really put on a concert then. And it would be like a carnival outside. The section leaders, the drum section, all the sections, we'd be practicing on outside. Let me tell you something. The band was so popular on this campus in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and until the mosquitoes wouldn't even bite us. Mosquitoes just clapping and happy for us to be on the outside. Man, look, I'm telling you, mosquitoes were telling all the other partners, hey man, y'all be quiet. Let's listen to the jukebox. Y'all gotta be quiet. And I mean, and Doc, when you were in the band, how the sideline would be what? Packed. It would be like a carnival.
Everybody out there.
Everybody, the whole school. I think they were missing night class to come see us practice. Yeah, it was packed. It was packed. But things change.
Yeah.
Things change, and students have to. Dr. Taylor having a huge band. This band is huge. They have to wait until they get out of class at night because they got so many slots to fill. So sometimes they have to start their night rehearsals outside at a later time to get it all in. But I think this band is amazing. His band is just truly amazing. You got the facilities now, practice on artificial turf and not being on asphalt and the whole 9 yards unless it's necessary to go. I think it's a win-win situation.
And I want to talk about the discipline because you're talking about a different time and age, right? Now you got a whole new student, a whole new bandsman that is showing up to Southern University. Times are different, and for you, evolving to change with this time of this new student in the new world of band that we see it today.
It's totally different. When I first started teaching, I guess I had an old school teaching method, mindset, where I would tell the students, you can't be weak to be in a band. What I mean by being weak, you couldn't be soft and because most people thought being in a band, you just toot. Like I said, don't say toot when you're in the band. It ain't no toot, Because in high school, the football team, I was like, man, you don't want to play no football, but I love the game. But my parents was like, and down, ain't no football. She saw this boy get his collarbone broke, so that was the end of that. So we made band fun, and it wasn't. You had to be physically fit to be in the band, to march and all of those things. So I never wanted my students to be weak because that was one thing I learned at Southern. There were life lessons in band, in being in this organization. You learn to be on time. If you before time, you'll never be late, right? So teaching that, we don't change that. You got to be here before time to be on time. Right. If you're on time, you're late. Right. So that's a life lesson because when you get a job, when it comes to time, you automatically know in order for me to be on time, I got to be before time because if I'm on time, I'm late. You can't start your job if I'm supposed to be here at 9 o'clock, I can't start my job at 9:05 when I'm supposed to be starting at 9 o'clock. So that was a life lesson for me, being on time and valuing time. So making use of time. Like at Southern, we didn't waste time. Like, most people so most bands, they do 5 o'clock workouts every morning. I'm like, we didn't do that at Southern. That's not what you're gonna actually be doing. So I kept those principles that I learned and put it with my own creativity when I got my high school, because don't nobody want to see another Southern University, right? You get your own high school bands, you can't, people want to see something different, that Southern is Southern. You can't take what you do at Southern, but you can take the basic fundamentals, the concepts that you learn here, because they are great concepts, right? So that's the thing about discipline now with these students. Everybody has an excuse for something. When we were in the band, you couldn't have a job.
Right.
Nobody could work. Nowadays, students go out, create debt, and I got to work with it. I was like, if you got to work, you can't be in the band. We still keep that principle because you can't have holes. You can't have, if one person get a job, slots open, and then if one person get a job, everybody got to get a job, right? So those things are important as it relates to band, because you can't balance and blend the band if a student missing. And when you got multiple students missing, that's a problem. Right. So that's just something, that's a non-negotiable. If you can't make it to rehearsal, you can't be in the band. Right. So that's something that we keep in as it relates to time, being at rehearsal, attendance is important. And I always say, I thank God I didn't march in this band. I probably would have wanted to quit, because we practice a lot. Like, it's a lot that goes into this. Right. Like, as opposed to when we were in the band, we knew the schedule, we knew what we had to do, and we was gonna do it so we can get out of practice. Right. Nowadays, the students know, well, we gonna be there anyway. So it's like, now it's like you got to keep motivating them to learn all this music. Like Mr. Jackson say, like, we put out at least 5 to 10 tunes a week new. And people are like, well, how do they learn that? It takes a lot of work, but they got to be smarter, and you got to do it in advance. So we don't pass music out the week of. You get that music in advance now, because it takes time for the music to cook, for the students to actually be able to articulate it the proper way. And so it's harder now than it was when I first started. When I first started, it was so enjoyable. You was gonna have your good shows, like Mr. Jackson say, you change your home shows, take your road show. But now, man, people want to see something new every week. And it's like, our fans have seen so much in Mumford, you got to come with it. Hey, you can't skip over halftime at Mumford Stadium. Right. Ain't no such thing as skipping over halftime. So the creativity that we have to pull from now is harder, because there's not a lot of music out that people can relate to as a whole. Used to be a time where you play Rock With You, Michael Jackson, the whole stadium knew it, right? Nowadays, it's like you play a song, it's like by artists, it's like, who is that? Because it's a gap in what everybody listening to now.
Radio used to control it. Right. Now everybody have their own selection. It's easy to just tune into what you want.
So I listen to the younger guys, and they like, I'm telling you, Doc, this is going viral. I was like, okay, man, you go play it, and it's at Crickets. It's like, I knew I should have listened to myself. It's like, and that's another life lesson I learned from Dr. Greggs. Dr. Greggs, discipline, right? You talking about discipline. Dr. Greggs was like a mastermind. You know how like most people get louder when there's noise in the room? Dr. Greggs got softer. Yeah. He was like, we can't hear you, Doc. Well, if you close your mouth, you can hear what I'm saying. Yeah. So it was like, I was like, wow, that's smart. Because, most people, hey, everybody, they yelling into the top of their lungs, you be quiet. And like, no, Doc did the opposite. He started, everybody like, we can't hear you, Doc. Well, if you close your mouth. But it was classic, because it was like, he demanded the room. He controlled the room by the way he presented himself, So I took that with, I definitely took a lot of those things with me. But we tried to change the show one time, because we didn't want to do the show Doc wanted to do. He loved when we had a singer, Baby Doc. We called him Baby Doc, but Baby Doc used to sing, and because I love you, and so the senior class thought it was the smart thing to do and come in the band room and change the show. So I told the band, currently, don't y'all try. But I told them about the story. But I was like, we all came in here, we changed the show up. We went to the field, did a new drill, and put songs together. We put our own halftime show together, right? So the next day we come in and we do it on the field. Doc say, what is that? We like, that's the show, Doc. That ain't what I told y'all to do. And so he's like, in his words, I ain't gonna say his words. His words, they cut.
Hey, it was direct.
It was direct. do it again. So we had to do what Doc told us to do, and we were going to Indianapolis, and he told us that it was going to house out, and it housed out.
Yeah, yeah. Now you see what he said when the late Mr. Cornell Knight, magical arranger, and myself was assistant to Doc. Doc, we would have our staff meeting in his office, and he would ask us, what you think we need to do? And we would tell him, and there were times when he would, he listened to us and he tell us what we're gonna go with. Now it's total opposite of what we recommended. And when me and Mr. Knight walk out, we say, man, that thing ain't gonna hit, man. That thing ain't gonna hit. And so we would execute it. That's one thing we never crossed Doc. What he wanted, we would execute it. Mr. Knighton and I would make sure that whatever he wanted to do, we would carry it out. We would never insubordinate employees. We never. Doc was like E.F. Hutton. When he said something, we'll carry it out. And I don't care what the band said, we want to hear that chatter. So me and Mr. Knighton walked out his office and said, man, that ain't gonna hit. No, that ain't gonna hit. We'll house out. Doc knew stuff that we didn't know because he had more experience. He knew what the fans wanted. And he just had that sixth sense. You understand? And man, like Dr. Taylor said, you just learn so much from him.
I take it you may have wrote a song or two, and he said no.
Doc was direct. He was just direct. Look, I wrote this song called My Boo. My Boo, and man, the band was jumping up, screaming, hollering, yeah, Mr. J, that's the one. Man, I went in Doc's office. Doc said, I don't like that song. I don't like that song. It sounds too much like Isn't She Lovely? And I said, Doc, what is She Lovely? I don't like it. Guess what? I ain't call that tune. No, I ain't call it. Doc will tell you when Doc will run out, when you rehearsing the tune, he listening. And when he run out and start jumping and hollering and say, that's what you do. That's when you know it's hitting for him. Because he made the decision. He'll let you write anything you wanted to write. But if you're going to put it on the field, he wasn't going to let no. Well, he wrote it, I don't like it. But no. He'll tell you he don't like it. That's what I love about Doc. Doc used to call me in his office. That's when he was thinking about rolling out. And, I was, sitting with him in his office, and he'll bring me, come go with me to administration. And I was just observing him. So I was writing a tune. And he said, hey, good looking, what you doing? I told Doc, I ain't doing nothing. I was doing something. But when he called, I said, I ain't doing nothing, Doc. I go in there. Doc, in his office, he be smoking them more cigarettes. And then he say, 128 step drill. How many minutes? On the spot. Now, you've been with me a long time. Based on the tempo we march, how many minutes? Is a 128 step drill. So I said, well, Doc, 32 counts is 15 seconds. 64 counts is 30 seconds. 64 is 128 steps. That's a minute. And he rolled back in his seat, put his leg right here, take a drag off that more. and he winked at me. We together.
Your weight lifted off your shoulder?
Oh man! He put me on because he wanted to know if he gonna leave this band with somebody, they better know what they doing.
What are some of those quotes that he left you with that lifetime, even for you and both of y'all, those quotes that, no matter who you tell it to, whether it's someone elderly or a youth, no matter what, it means something that resonates to the soul?
Well, like I said before, he would say, the tallest building will tumble down if it's not rooted on solid ground. He's talking about fundamentals. You can't build a building on quicksand or on sand. You got to have a solid foundation. Solid foundation is knowing basic fundamentals in reading music, reading rhythms, marching with a 90-degree angle, cloning everybody looking like one. The Jawara rock, all that. And he say, lock your fingers together, and you be rocking naturally. That is our history. That's the fundamental. He would say something like Dr. Taylor say, if you're on time, you're late. That's Dr. Gray. If you're on time, you're late. And I got a lot of quotes that I used to use. Dr. Taylor probably use it now, but since I'm out of the game.
Was it one day you was like, what are you talking about?
If you, well, I done forgot a lot of them, but he had some tremendous quotes that really helped us out along the way, man. And it was good cliches. He was a philosopher. That's what he was. And he had his own dictionary that we used to refer to in different situations. So there's a lot of quotes. Maybe along in the interview, I might think of something. But right now, I'm in a brain freeze right now.
And let me ask y'all this. Both you guys, you're the former director, you're now the director. And for you, Dr. Greggs basically put you in a position to take over the band. Like you said, bring you into the office, asking you certain questions and saying, you know what, when it's the time, you're going to be ready. Right. But, getting the next director ready. After you, it was Nathan Hamer. And then, of course, after Nathan Hamer, it was Kedrick Taylor. But you having an imprint, what is that like for, one, you getting that opportunity and trained up, but then making sure that next group behind you is ready to carry on that legacy?
Well, what we did was, I basically observed Doc. So if you gotta, in other words, you gotta have the initiative to observe what the director before you is doing. And you got to have the perseverance or the initiative to ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. I go one-on-one with him. He don't be calling me. That was just one time he called me, but I would go in there, Doc, how you do this? How you do that? You got to have the initiative to take upon yourself, because when he roll out, he's a phone call away. When I needed something, I called Dr. Greggs, and he couldn't wait to ask me. But it's not like he getting somebody ready, although he called me in, but it's that person under him taking the initiative to go in his office and ask questions. Because he don't have no downtime. We don't have, as directors of band, we don't have downtime.
Yeah, I hear it's different once you get that seat.
Let me tell you what Doc told me. Doc was in his office. He was sitting down. I was all excited, I'm all hyper. And he looked at me. He said, your view on your side of my desk is different from my view on my side of the desk. I said, what you mean, Doc? He like to wink at you. He wink at you. You'll see. It is different. When you are the assistant, nobody see you. They see the director. They'll pass you up. Hey, Dr. Greg. They got to pass by you, the assistant, before they get to doc. They don't say, hey, Mr. Jackson, how you doing? Hey, Mr. Knight, how you doing? But when you become the director, everybody know you. Everybody see you. And Mr. Knighton, the late Mr. Knighton, Mr. Corner Knighton told me something. The band was complaining one time about who arrangement they were playing. And I was at Clinton, but I was a part-time assistant here. And Mr. Knighton told the band, he said, man, ain't nobody care about who wrote the arrangement on the field. He said, when it come down, the fans think Doc is doing the drills, writing all the music and rehearsing. Nobody care. So what y'all worrying about? As long as Dr. Greg picked the best arrangement to make us successful. Ain't nobody caring about who wrote it. Do you know anybody who wrote this arrangement? No. So there are going to be times when my arrangement's going to be played. There's going to be times Mr. Jackson's arrangement's going to be played. There's some times when we use other former arrangements. But nobody cares, as long as it's still Southern University Marching Band. So he put that in perspective. I'm talking about the late Mr. Cornell Knight. He told the band, and he used to rehearse my tunes when I was at Clinton. And when I come for 6 o'clock, I didn't really have a whole lot to do because he doesn't clean it up. So we were working as a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. So Dr. Greggs was the architect of what's going on now. And another thing, I really would like to say, so I could set the record straight, when you have a legacy, a rich tradition, a rich history, each director just add on to the legacy. There's no such thing as well, I'm going to flip-flop. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to create something that has already been a success. No. Your job as a director of band is to add on to the legacy. Now you're going to tweak it a little bit, just like you have a Mercedes. They add little jingles and little toys, but it's still a Mercedes. They just add on. They add on. The 1970 Mercedes not going to look like the 2025 Mercedes, but it's a Mercedes. And that's the most important thing. Each band director going to add on, or should be able to add on to already a rich tradition. And it's going to be next man up. Dr. Greg left, it was me. When I left, it was Mr. Hamer. When Mr. Hamer left, it's Dr. Taylor. And prior to Doc, it was the other band director, Dr. Ludwig Freeman, Dr. T. Leroy Davis, and even before him. And everybody add on to this great legacy. And that's what's so important. Adding on to the legacy. Not changing the tradition, but adding on a little piece of the already stellar tradition. For example, the fight song. I added on the little tag at the end. When our football team make a great play, instead of going bum, and do it's too late. So I added on bum 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 bum. That's all they do now. I started that under my administration. And then Dr. Taylor gonna add on something. Mr. Hamer add on something. Dr. Gray, he was the showmanship. He created that in your face showtime There's no business like show business. That's the legendary Dr. Griggs. And he wasn't a marching band guru at first. In high school, he was known for his concert mastery. Southern Lab used to get straight ones at the LMEA, which was, you had the LIALO, which was all the blacks in Louisiana because it was segregation. And then you had the LMEA. He used to go to LMEA, make straight ones, and used to come back to the LIALO and get first place. But he did it both. I mean, he was just phenomenal. But he knew, he told me, and he told us, how many people gonna see or hear the concert band compared to how many people who gonna hear or see the marching band? Mm-hmm. The marching band was the drawing card. That's what it was. It was a drawing card. So his concentration at the college level was to have a great marching band that's going to complement a phenomenal concert band. You see, and I always knew Dr. Taylor had that DNA in him. I'm telling you, because when he used to have me to come to Baker High School and rehearse his band, I didn't have much to rehearse. He is a music guru. He know how to balance a band. He know how to make the band sound sweet. He know how to raise the volume, lower the volume. He just, that's inside of you. You really got to have that in you. Mr. Knighton was like that. Dr. Griggs was like that. And a few other people was like that. They just knew how stuff's supposed to sound. That's why the band sound so good now. Not saying that it didn't sound like that before, because no, we had some great sounding bands, but it's had to have somebody on the staff who know how to really balance that band. And we had a number of people through the years who can do that. He's that person.
And that's one of the questions where I wanted to ask you, because with change of directors, you have sometimes people who stuck in a certain Southern era, who see Southern in a way that, you know, maybe it was the 90s, maybe it was the 80s. But like you said, with directors, it's not changing nothing, you know, because the tradition is there. It's just adding your own flair. Right. And with that comes criticism. And especially in this day and age with social media, YouTube, as you talked about, you got podcasts, you got everybody out there now with their opinion and their voice who can now, what used to be said behind closed doors can be said publicly. You know, how does a band director like yourself and your staff in this day and age, with so much out there now with opinions, to be able to handle that and then move the band forward when you have people who will be, some may be stuck on the Mr. J era, some may be stuck on the Dr. Griggs era, but now it's the Dr. Kedrick Taylor era?
Before Mr. Jackson left, he said, "Don't read them comments."
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
He said, "Do not read those comments." Right. I think that was probably the best advice he could have given, because to be honest, the band did not change. The band hasn't changed. We play in the same arrangements. We play the same traditional songs that Mr. Jackson talk about. What's changing is the students, the people, the personnel. Right. That's like saying Nick Saban changed his teams at Alabama. No, he got different personnel. The personnel changes, and as personnel changes, realistically, it's not going to be exactly how it was. Mm-hmm. Like even when I was in the band, I always tell the students, I'm like, you know, when I was in the band, this and that, but they don't want to hear that, because they have way, way more resources now than we had when we grew up. Like Mr. Jackson said, when they was in school, they didn't have internet and all of that. You know, we didn't really have internet either. It kind of started getting where people were starting to have YouTube. I think it started coming out, internet where you can plug in, but everybody didn't have that. You didn't have access to no internet on your phone. So what has evolved is the timing has changed, right? So when you think about bands now, everybody has access to it. They live at the event. So it's almost like they are present. But what they don't understand is technology. We pulled out the old camera. Garrett did a great job of that, of capturing the band with the 90s camera versus what we have today. You can tell that the mics can't pick up all of the sound, so it started being distorted. So that what they would hear with the Southern band was the sound was coming so much. That ain't what the band sound like though. The band actually had a good sound. Cause I marched in this band. I would put my horn down when Mr. Jackson be on the podium sometime, and I just like listening. It was that you got it. I was so amazed at that chord structure that he had in there, and it was thick. And I tell the band now, it's like, guys, y'all want to play high. It's like Lay's potato chips. You look in there, you can see straight through it. That sound thin. Right. That's not what you want. You want thick. You want that thick sound, right? And that arrangement, you got it. Man, when he got to that da-da-da, ba-da-dee-da-da, chord, it was like chorded good. It was thick. That's what Southern band always did. So when I think about what we do now, I was like, guys, we're not going to change up who we are just to appease people. Writing all these high loud notes and rap tunes, that's not, Dr. Greggs couldn't stand when we played loud. Right. He wanted it to be full, not loud, but full. It's a difference. And when we put the air through the horn. So if the tubas was blasting, man, Dr. Greggs would bust out that office so fast, no matter who on the podium. And he was like, God, stop blasting them horns like that. You know, he wanted the instruments to be full, but still sound good. Right. Like, we in pep band, oh man, you better not play loud in pep band. Doc, he'd go off. Like, but I understood it. He wanted the band to be musical. Right. Nobody could outplay Southern band. Right. We were musical. We were musicians. And that's what I tell the band now, like, guys, we're not going to get into rap battle with people. We're going to play music. Right. That's going to set you apart. Right. Don't worry about what other people saying. Right. You know, we playing Getaway. Shabba-dum. Man, you better be ready when they go down the line. It was like, if you couldn't play, when that Devil Doc saw you, you ain't blowing nothing. And I mean, that was his thing. He challenged us to be better. That was the purpose of going down the line. So when we do it now, we're challenging the students to be better, not to just sit there and be like, well, we know he gonna play it, I ain't gonna play it. So it's building students up, not tearing them down, building the musicianship up. And so that's one of the things that we try to continue to do. And we made it more now where we had stopped challenging. Now, man, we started back challenging. To get on the field, you got to challenge. And students will say, well, I want to challenge this person. All right, well, Prof. Young get them in, they start playing scales, or they playing licks on the part. They ain't playing who can play the loudest on the part. That's not important. But we put that emphasis on who the loudest. The reason Southern band was loud back in the day because it was all brass, right? But people think that we just went for volume, but it wasn't that. We were going for the brass sound because that's what we had, all brass. So it automatically was louder than everybody else. So they took that and were like, yeah, we louder than y'all. No, we are musicians. We had great musicians in this band. And guys now that I march with, Orrin Wilson, different people, Mr. Hankey, all these guys, they out doing big things with music, because they were phenomenal musicians in the Southern University band. Orrin doing, producing records for Chris Brown. Like, when you think about that, man, he put me on a lot of stuff musically wise. John Gray was another one in the studio that, can play, and he's back now as a professor over our trumpets. So that's what we're pushing in the students now. And so I try not to get caught up in what people are saying on the internet, because when you know better, you got to do better. Right. So that's why you hear people say comments, it's like, man, they just don't get it. They don't understand. They don't know what they want, to be honest. The older guys want you to play what we played in the 80s and 90s. The newer guys want you to play what they played. And today time, they want to play whatever's on the radio. So it's like, you got to have a balance of everything. Right. So we just try to balance our playing stuff from old school, like we played Under Pressure. We played, and then what? People going crazy because, it's something they can relate to. It's relatable. It's harder now for us because it's hard to create so much material when there's not a lot of material that's new to create. So when you pull from the older material, you got the newer students, like, they want to play that stuff. They want to play the tunes that were popular during that time. But as fans, like Mr. Jackson say, you got to know what the crowd want to hear, what they want. Like, that's why we try to continue to play Spirit the fight song and I'm so glad. The fans want to hear that stuff. You know, they want to hear Nick. They want to hear things that every director has added in it that made the tradition of Southern University. Because it's even soon as you was like, hey man, you got to pull that back out. You know, we got to hear that. So as it relates to like what Dr. Greg's mindset was, you know, he was like, you got to educate and entertain.
That's it.
So you got to educate your students to educate the audience while entertaining them. That's important. You got to educate them on what music's supposed to be. You the teacher, and I always tell the band, I ain't here to be your friend. I'm not your friend. Y'all here to learn. If you knew it all, you wouldn't be at the college level. You're here to learn, so in order for them to understand, all right, I'm not their equal, so I got to come here to be teachable, coachable, and trainable. You got to be able to come and receive. And that was everything Mr. Jackson used to tell me. I used to go and try to do it to the best of my ability. Mr. Knight, I used to go to all the directors' office to learn. Like, I wanted to be better. I wanted to be good at this. I didn't want to just do this, you know. And a lot of times students just do stuff just to do it and don't have a end goal in mind. Like, what's your end goal? What is it that you really want to do? And I knew I wanted to do music, so why not follow the best? We've created the best musicians based on the style and what we do here. So that's one of the most important things about today. And dealing with the internet, man, I don't watch it. I don't look at it. I don't watch it because it will make you question yourself as a musician and as a director. And I know this band is phenomenal. I know that these students are doing a great job. So I don't get caught up into that song selection boring. It's like, maybe to you, that's your opinion. But to the other people, they really like it. Like, you'll have people like, I really like this, or you have somebody say, I really don't like it. Every song not gonna be for every person. So you can't get caught up in what people like and don't like. As long as the Mumford Stadium happy, them pom-poms shaking, you know you're doing your job, you know. So that's what we try to focus on more than, now anyway. And I tell the guys, don't read the comments. Don't read it.
I wanna say something about the fifth quarter and how that evolved and what happened to that. How did it start? I'm talking about when you have these hours after the game. I don't know about the other conferences, but we started fifth quarter long. I'm talking about as we know it today, started in the early 90s. First it was Southern against Alcorn at Alcorn. And Alcorn didn't have the stadium they were in now. Their stadium didn't have lights, so they would always have that game at 1 o'clock. And after the game was over with, that particular year in the early 90s, and I know one of the band heads probably know the year, the date, the time, and all that, but you know,
The temperature.
temperature and all that. But Alcorn ran out of music, and my good friend, Professor Samuel Griffin, Dr. Griffin, was the director of band, and he ran out of music, and he went back to the band room, and was getting music, and we even heard a bass guitar playing. They were getting jazz stuff or something. They ran out of music, and we had loads of music. And then that was the evolution. The next time we had the battle was that same year, or maybe 1 or 2 years, with Jackson State. At Jackson.
That was 1990.
Okay, so Dr. But we had it where they turned the sprinklers on. It might be 91 because I was on the staff. I didn't get on the staff until 91. And they cut the lights off. So in Memorial Stadium, they turned the sprinklers on, they cut half the lights off, and Southern and Jackson State we would not stop playing They cut off all the lights. And Doc said, let's go, we gotta go eat. Come on. Oh, Doc, we soldiers, we don't wanna go eat. He said, okay. He called a restaurant, canceled the food, and we had to do a Saints game the next day. We had to find our way out of that stadium. Everything was locked, and we found an opening and left, and had to get up early that next morning, be in the band room, and do a Saints game. And Doc said, get up, soldiers. Y'all soldiers, y'all. And we just, even the director, and man, I was hungry. I wanted to eat. I was ready to go. me and Mr. Knighton, and Mr. B. Dale, who was announcing then, man, we wanted to go. We wanted to eat. I don't know about the band students, but man, the band, they wasn't going to leave. And man, that's when it started. Then everybody started doing it. Everybody started doing it. Even with the catch-ons, with the dancing dolls. You know who created that? Our dancing dolls. They didn't know nothing about catch-ons. When the dolls started doing catch-ons, man, they what they doing? Man, people just was confused about the catch-on. Let me look in the camera and say that whatever HBCU band saying, dance line saying they started it, that is not true. You need to repent. Before you go to the church next week, it's the Southern University Dancing Dolls who created catch-ons. I used to call it pickup, and they got me saying, Mr. Jack, that's catch-on.
What you call it?
Pickup. They say that's catch-on. So I just wanted everybody to know that it was the Southern University Dancing Dolls who created catch-ons. That's history. That's facts. And like I said before, everywhere the band traveled, it was just like amazing. The fans were at awe. The dance team were just looking, oh wow, what they doing? And it just evolved. And everybody said, oh yeah, I want to get a part of that. So they started doing it. So Dr. Griggs, you say, often imitated but never ever duplicated. Dr. Griggs used to say when a student was acting up, and he used to tell the band, one of the things he used to say is, if you stick your finger in a glass of water and take it out, you won't make a dent. Mm-hmm. We're going to eventually have to move on without you anyway. Mm. Then he used to say, it's coming back to me, you could take a bushel of ripe apples and put one bad apple in the bushel, and that one bad apple will turn all the good apples bad. Mm. But you can't take a bushel of bad apples and put one good apple and turn those bad apples good. He was saying one person, if you don't check them, gonna poison the entire band. Mm. And he wouldn't let it happen. No. He would, when I say and down you, and down. Everybody knew what and down means. You were gone. When he called you in the office, that was the death chamber.
Mm. Is that famous you zip?
Zip and down. Go in your locker room, get all your stuff out, bring me my uniform. Mm. You got that? Man, Doc would drop the hammer on you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like, he didn't play in the same concept. I was a little different because I would smile when I and down you.
Oh, that is different.
I would smile. Doc used to always say, before a dog bites you, you see his teeth. Mm-hmm. Well, I was kind of like that. We'd have fun, and we expedited time, but more than anything else, like Dr. Taylor said, you just have to have good musicians to do the things you want to do. And that's what we had. Now, there were things that was done, and he explained it to me. Certain way, Doc wouldn't pull no punches when he would talk to you. He would, really get where you knew where he was coming from. Then he had love too. He helped you. If you had a situation, it was just you and him. He would give you funds if you were a little short or something. If somebody didn't have nowhere to stay, they couldn't get together, he'll allow them to stay in his hotel, his motel. He had 2 of them. And he helped us in so many ways, man. And this is the part that nobody knows. What he did for dance students, what he did for this university. And he was just amazing. But today, I'm referring back to, is a different type of student. Certain things we could say and it'll pump you up when we were in the band. Can't say that now. Because that would be considered bullying. You bullying and I get it. Times have changed, even with the athletic department and football team. Certain statements you can't make no more. You just have to go around it and see if you can motivate them a certain way. So I get it.
We can do this all day, every day. I enjoy the conversation, but we got to get ready to get out of here. But for you guys, let me get a closing remark from you and a closing remark for you for all the people out there that'll be watching this.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that it was an honor and a privilege to have an opportunity to be a part of this telecast with an iconic band director, Dr. Taylor, very humble. And I think he's done an amazing job here at Southern University, carrying on the history and the legacy of the Southern University Marching Band from Jaguar Land, better known as the Human Jukebox. And I think the best years is really ahead of them. And I pray that we have many more seasons of great success, because the best that is yet to come. It's wartime!
What about you, Dr. Taylor?
Oh man, I was sitting here thinking about all the quotes that Dr. Greg was saying, and I tell the band this now: 1 drop of kerosene in the gumbo, you run the whole Uncle. Oh man, he talked about a lot of great things, and I never try to make it about me. I always tell people, may the works I do speak for me, and not me speak for the works that I do. Mr. Jackson don't give himself enough credit as the director that he was, and how inspirational he was to so many people. Mr. Jackson was definitely part of a lot of the power tunes that Southern play today, that we still play. And he was like, we knew that if Mr. Jackson had to put some stuff out for us to feel like, oh yeah, we got what we need. And he was a phenomenal arranger, and I learned a lot of how to structure those chords from Mr. Jackson. Mr. Knighton was another, great teacher. He was very precise how he wanted it. I mean, he was gonna let us, the way he rehearsed the band, he wanted those parts. And Mr. J will come out, he see we was beat up, and he'll come in, like, all right guys, let me know. Hey, if y'all come play, if you give it to me, we're gonna let you go. So he'll let us off the hook. So he wouldn't drill us, but I played in the brass choir, man. Mr. Jackson was real precise on his teaching methods, how he taught the parts. And so I would just say, man, definitely kudos to Mr. Jackson. He had an amazing program at Glynn that they still talking about. He probably can go out there and be mayor right now, because I can say we both got something in common. We were probably one of the 2 directors that beat St. Aug that a lot of people don't talk about.
Garrett. Talk about that one.
Mr. Jackson put on a show.
Well, I tell you what, the only thing
think I was serious.
You know you don't be humble. What year was that? What year was that in the Superdome?
1981 was the first Bayou Classic High School Battle of the Bands, and they had some phenomenal bands over there. St. Aug, in my book, always was the very best band, the very best band that I had an opportunity to see at that time. The legendary Mr. Edward Hampton, we call him Mr. Hamp. He was an iconic band, drill master. They wouldn't do dance routines. And we were at the first ever Bayou Classic Battle of the Bands, 1981. And we had high schools out of Pritchard, Viger High School, band rec from Groundman, 169. I got the program. I still got the program. Mm-hmm. We had Viger High School, Pritchard, Alabama. We had St. Augustine, New Orleans, John F. Kynedi, New Orleans, John Mack. They had a John Mack. They had a huge band too. They're all in the hundreds, 125, 140, 160 plus and all that. You had Peabody High School, the Marching War Eagles, out of Monroe, Louisiana. And they had a band out of Chicago, Carver High School, Lil Clinton. We marched 96 on the field. We had 105. And St. Aug was the best band over there. Mm-hmm. And we all knew St. Aug was the best band. The reason why we got first place, and this is the only reason why, because St. Aug pulled number 2, and he at that time St. Aug wanted to be at the end of the program. And I learned from Doc, go on first and make the field hot. And what I did was I switched with the legendary Mr. Ham, and I had told him I had 4. I said, well, I'll go on second. And we did real good that night. We came in first place. St. Aug came in second. Now, I did not say we outmarched them. I did not say we outplayed them. But we had the total show that the people enjoyed watching. But not too many people going to outmarch St. Aug, and not too many people going to outplay them. I don't know nobody at that time could. But we were fortunate enough to come in first place. And I thought it was an honor. And, but St. Aug is getting back to that level now with the band director they have now. And the only thing I can say is I had some good years at Clinton. I'm going to leave it like that.
And for me, before I get ready to get out of here, man, first I want to say it's an honor and a privilege to be sitting here amongst, you are a legend of Southern, the tradition, the history coming under Dr. Isaac Greggs and the love and the respect that you give and that you show to him. But then it lives on through Dr. Kedrick Taylor of today, a legend of the future of right now building his legacy while you've already built yours. And you created the foundation. He's building the next floors off of it. And for me, I just want to say, I appreciate both of you guys for what you do. And not only just, it ain't about the music, it's the countless lives that you guys get a chance to encounter and change. You bring young people from all across the country, from various backgrounds, and you get a chance to bring them here to get an education, to travel the world, to see things, and not only that, to become better citizens and better people. And I think at the end of the day, that's what resonates and stick out more than a halftime show, more than a fifth quarter, more than a note coming out of the horn. It is the lives that have been able to change through education.